Hi, I'm Charles Adele, and welcome to another episode of Pacific Policy Pulse. Today, I'm thrilled to have Carolyn Millard, the Distinguished Advisor with the Australian National University's National Security College, and retired former ambassador plenipotentiary, that wasn't in your title, except adding this in, of course, to the EU, to NATO, to Belgium, and to Luxembourg. Did I get them all right? Okay. But more important than any of that, at least in our personal history, was you were in Washington. You were DCM at the embassy, but that was a while ago. This is the first time we're meeting in Washington since then. What's changed since you came?
Yeah, well, look, the first thing what's changed for me is coming here not in an official capacity. So I'm having sort of withdrawal symptoms from not having access to classified conversations with my American counterparts. So it's a new chapter. But many told me in coming here that this is not the same Washington under the Trump administration, that it had changed. And of course, to a certain extent, that has to be true. We have a president who's very intentionally disruptive and has really, done, had a very different approach to the whole policy establishment. But I also find that many things have remained the same. And one of them is really meeting so many highly dynamic, clever, insightful, thoughtful, energetic, transactional US counterparts who are grappling, as they always have done, with the big challenges facing America and facing the world today. And to me, that is always incredibly stimulating and gives me a sense of great optimism.
Well, that's a lovely note. But your career has spanned all over the world. But as you think about the Indo-Pacific region, what should be top of mind in conversations with Americans as they think about this region?
Yeah, well, look, we're very conscious, of course, of the president's America First agenda and of the fact that this administration doesn't place the same emphasis on alliances as previous administrations on both sides of the aisle have done. Although, of course, we're delighted with the outcome of the Prime Minister's recent visit here and the reaffirmation by the president of the value of AUKUS and, of course, the deal we've done on critical minerals essential for our shared future. But I think what has really been of enormous benefit to the Indo-Pacific over decades has been strong US strategic engagement. And I think that's essential for that to continue, for the prosperity and security of the region, but also in the interests of the United States, and not just transactional bilateral agreements, valuable though they may be. So that's very important. And when I think of strategic engagement in the Indo-Pacific at a time of this strategic competition between the US and China, I also think of India, because when you look at a stable Indo-Pacific in a strategic sense, India has to be part of that. You may recall, Charlie, that I was previously in my last job in government, or second but last job in government, the inaugural Quad Sherpa for the Leaders process. And the value of that in not just bringing Australia, the United States, Japan and India together to deliver public goods to the region was in the strategic conversation among those four countries. That's the sort of thing I think is essential to continue for the region.
Excellent. Well, look, the last question was really my first question. You and I do talk books when we get together. What are you reading right now?
Well, the last book I've just finished was Ian McEwan's latest novel, All We Can Know. Now, as an historian, this really tickled me because it's set in 2019, looking back at our age today. And all that could possibly have gone wrong has gone wrong with the world. All the things that we predict in our worst scenarios have happened. And yet it's not a completely dystopian novel. Humanity still survives, and there is a sense of hope. And it's also a mystery with an historian looking back at today, trying to unravel the past, with a twist at the end that proves that even with all the digital records that have survived in Nigeria, in data centers, there are still things that we can't know. And I just found that a fascinating take on today, looking from the future.
Great reading suggestion. Thank you for that. It's great seeing you again. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Pacific Policy Pulse.